Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Credit Union Marketplace Monday. I'm your host, Isaiah. Want to remind everybody that registration is open for our virtual annual meeting and convention that we'll be holding in October. You're on the website now, ccua.org. So when you're done watching this episode of Marketplace Monday, make sure you go get registered. All the vendors that want to register, get in there ahead of time before it sells out. And all of you credit union membership decision makers, please register early for this year's convention. It's going to be a great time. We've got a lot of surprises set up for you. We have to do it virtually this year, but trust me, it's going to be worth it. So moving forward together is the theme of this year's convention. Also, while you're on ccua.org, all of the episodes of Credit Union Marketplace Monday are on the website. You want to make sure you go back and watch all of those because we have the Credit Union, we're playing a mystery clue game. It's the Credit Union Marketplace Monday mystery clue game. I drop clues every episode. And if you gather up all the clues and you get the phrase at the end, you're entered into a drawing for $2,000 in cash. Do you want $2,000? I'd take $2,000, but I can't win because I'm the host. Anyway, a lot of what we do here on Marketplace Monday is we make sure it's our responsibility to make sure that all of our vendor partners get their services in front of you, the membership. And I'm super happy to be talking with Paula Clancy. She's in our virtual green room right now. Paula, you can unmute your screen. Paula is the Senior Manager of Data Insight and Innovation for Effective, which is a division of Comcast. Did I get that right, Paula?
You did. Yes. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, so Comcast is, we all know what Comcast is, big giant company. You guys focus on television. I think really what we're going to focus on here is how credit unions can effectively use television for their marketing, right?
Yes, absolutely. Especially using data. That's kind of my specialty. So we're going to be bringing a lot of data to you guys today.
Well, that's good. I mean, look, everything is data driven. People shouldn't be doing any marketing without good, solid data behind it. So that's why we're talking to Paula. First, though, I just want to talk a little personal. Where are you in the world?
Yes, so I am actually in Wilmington, Massachusetts right now. Normally I'm out of Quincy, but since we're all kind of hunkered down, I am in one of my spare bedrooms in my home. So that's where I'm at.
I like to check in with everybody, and everybody's happy and healthy in your family. Things are going well?
Yeah, it's going great. How about you? Good, everyone?
Good.
I hope everyone's the same.
Yeah, we are. Thank you. We're up on the North Shore, and you can't see it's my living room, but we've got the Cooperative Credit Union backdrop. It's good.
I love it. I love the backdrop. I wish I had something custom. It's just a closet. So
the more and more people I interview, they're watching going, I should get a backdrop for my, yes, you should.
Yeah,
we're going to be doing video calls for a while. So yeah,
absolutely.
I think you should.
Maybe even a green screen so we can get some interesting stuff back here.
Well, I can tell you're already creative. So listen, joining us on the show, Paula Clancy, the Senior Manager of Data Insight and Innovation for Effective. That's a division of Comcast. Talk about reach. I mean, I've been in the marketing world for almost 30 years, worked with radio and television and ad agencies. You know, reach and frequency and how you reach people is so important. Why don't you talk a little bit about the foundation of building more reach in a very successful television campaign?
Absolutely. So, I mean, historically, TV is really good at reach, right? But now that we have so much data, and internally at Comcast and at Effective, we have access to our set-top box data. So that's the cable box that everyone has, you know, that they're interacting with. And what we've done is we've actually pulled back information from those set-top boxes from 40,000 plus campaigns to determine how can we extend that reach? How can we make sure that we are giving our clients and our customers the best bang for their buck? So essentially what we found based on all of those campaigns that we surveyed were 3 foundations that are really helpful to help build and extend that reach. So we want to think about buying, you know, deep networks. So you want to be in 20 plus networks in your schedule ideally, because what we're finding is people are watching a lot of different programming. People are watching a lot of different networks. We suggest going into more broad day parts. So traditionally and historically, we've thought prime is the place to be for the best and the biggest reach. While it's still an awesome place to be, people are now watching all day. So there are those impressions that we can find outside of prime. I mean, 70% of viewership is occurring outside of prime. So the last thing is just really consistent flight dates. We found that, you know, you want consistent messaging in the market. So you want to have longer flight dates so people become more familiar with your brand. So especially good for those banks that are rebranding or opening a new branch, something that you want to think about long term.
We're talking with Paula Clancy here on CU Marketplace Monday. She's the Senior Manager of Data Insight and Innovation for Effective, a division of Comcast. We've got all the membership folks watching from credit unions now, and what I really want to get across to them is that your swim lane is data when it comes to a creative television campaign. So a lot of people maybe have done television, maybe they haven't done television. You know, times are changing with everybody. How people's behavior is, it changes. It changes every day. And certainly over the last number of months, it's changed quite a bit. You know, I know that Comcast and Effective have access to what's called geo-targeting. And I use that with a number of my clients. And it's a very effective way to zoom right in on that actual potential customer. Talk a little bit about how a geo-targeted message can drive reach with an existing campaign that one of these credit unions might have going on television.
Absolutely. So cable historically, you know, that's kind of the bread and butter. Is we have this kind of internal mantra of owning your backyard, where we want to make sure that you're reaching the right people in the right place. So we have all of these ways where you can reach your audience, but how do you know where they are geographically? So we split up into these smaller, what we call cable zones, so that, you know, your clients, what they can do is they can own their backyard. They can geo-target their message in order to not have advertising waste if, you know, people aren't going to be driving 50 miles to your bank branch. So it's also a really nice complement, I would say, to broadcast buys. You know, broadcast has its benefits, but in cable, we can geo-target that message to really hone in and make sure that the people that matter the most are the people that are seeing your message.
Talking with Paula Clancy, Senior Manager of Data Insight and Innovation for Effective, which is a division of Comcast. You know, credit unions all across 4 states are who are represented here. So we've got credit unions in Delaware and in New Hampshire, in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. Talk about what Comcast and Effective can do. You can go into any of these states and really focus on a very geo-targeted campaign for any of the states, right? It doesn't matter where these folks are.
Yep, absolutely. So we service the whole Boston DMA, Springfield, Massachusetts, Burlington, Vermont, Hartford, Connecticut. And, you know, I think we represent more than just Comcast. So we actually sell into other cable providers, other MVPDs like Time Warner, RCN. So we really are kind of a full service model in that respect.
Good. Talk about some of the data and the research that we talk about. You know, that's super important right now. So television's changed. You know, marketing's changed. Back in the day, it was a radio, a TV, a newspaper. That was it. Not the case right now. It's so fragmented right now. There are so many directions that a credit union marketing team can go in. Talk about the data behind Effective and how that makes it worth it for me to spend money with you as a television operator.
Absolutely. That's a great question. And it's so hard because there really is so much data out there. The more presence there are from other providers, from different services in the market, the more data that comes with it. But what I really like about Effective and working at Effective is our set-top box data. So what that allows us to do is it actually helps us build the campaign. So on the pre-campaign side, we can look at set-top box data and say, if you're building a campaign for Q4, we can look at previous historical Q4 data and say, we have your specific target, we have your specific geography. What do those people do? How do they watch TV? How do they consume television? We can tell how much time they're spending with TV, what networks they're watching. So we can then take that information and get a really good mix of networks and day parts to build the most effective schedule for you. And what's really exciting is now on the back end, we can kind of pull that set-top box data all the way through for a full service information on your campaign. So we can actually pull set-top box data to then say, this was the reach and frequency of your actual campaign against your target in your geography based on our data. So we can say with confidence, without modeling, without extrapolating data from a small sample set to represent more than it is, to say, these are the households that had the TV on when your commercial aired. And I think that's that is just blown me away. It's so cool to get to look at that kind of information all the time.
See, you can basically say that you're a data geek, and that's okay.
Yes, I'm always front of the line with my hand raised. I'm like, I'm the data geek. Yeah, so that's what I live for.
That's a good thing. If you're just joining us, you're tuning in to Credit Union Marketplace Monday. We're doing our Marketplace experience virtually this year. Every Monday starting at 10 a.m., we do our Marketplace Monday. We have wonderful guests like we're talking to now, Paula Clancy. She's with Effective, a division of Comcast. We're talking about effective television marketing. You know, again, there are so many directions that you can go in with your marketing dollars, and depending on your budget and who you're trying to reach, you know, it's all different. So we're really trying to be a resource here. I will tell you, underneath the screen that you're watching Paula and I chat on right now, there is a chat box. So if you have any questions for Paula about television marketing, reach data, any of the stuff that Effective does, please feel free to jump on. She'll answer questions, we'll answer questions, because our number one goal is to make sure that you, the membership, have access to all of these cool vendors. So Paula, talk a little bit about OTT. It's a buzzword that I hear a lot.
Yes.
You know, I run my own ad agency and I talk to a lot of clients and they ask about OTT. What is OTT and how effective can that be for a credit union when it comes to television marketing?
Yeah, so it's really huge. So OTT, over the top. So that is really, it's essentially digital. So when we talk about OTT, we're talking about, you know, anything that's streaming, whether it be on any device, any kind of platform. And what we're able to do is actually, we insert in those places as well. So we try to make sure that when we're taking our data into consideration, when we're taking your clients and your schedules into consideration, we're thinking about all possible places that people are watching. So that's our linear TV, but also OTT. And right now, the really cool part is about 72% of people that have and utilize OTT actually also have cable subscriptions. So they're a really nice complement, one to the other. It's not necessarily OTT is fully replacing television, linear television. So one of the things that we suggest is another way to incrementally gain reach in your campaigns is to add an OTT element to your campaign. Freewheel actually recently did a study, and it was really great to finally see, you know, typically we don't meld the universes of your linear TV and your OTT. Typically they've been separate, but they were actually able to meld that universe together and look at a campaign and say, there was a 69% reach of your campaign on linear only, but you got a 13% incremental reach above that using OTT services. And on top of that, there was an 18% duplication. So people saw your ad on both TV and digital. So it's a really nice way to make sure that you're hitting your audience in all the places that they watch.
Well, you have to move with where people move. I mean, we can all sit and think as marketers that we know where our customers are. We don't. Our customers are how you and I think. If you want to find Isaiah or I want to find Paula, you have to understand our behavior. You have to understand what we like. And there's so much behavioral involved. We're talking with Paula Clancy, Senior Manager of Data and Insight for Innovation at Effective, which is a division of Comcast. Content is something I always start with. So we can talk all day about where to place and what to do and what schedules and what reach. Content is king, and it's so critical that you work with, and I would imagine you do, you work with your clients. What are you saying? If you just get out there and talk about a bland message having to do with the credit union, I don't care if you buy spots like Geico buys spots, it won't reach anybody. You have to have good content. Talk about your content creators and maybe your production department. Do you have people that work with credit unions to help them come up with the best content?
Absolutely. So we actually have an in-house creative agency known as Mnemonic. They are absolutely excellent with going out to clients, talking about ideas, understanding what they want their creative message to be. And then we just try to bring that to light. You know, they're there as consultants, but really at the end of the day, you guys will be driving your own creative message and talk about peak television and programming. And, you know, we started seeing a little bit of that new movie quality programming in the very late 90s, early 2000s. If you think of The Sopranos, I feel like that kind of kicked it off. And then AMC quickly fell suit and they released Mad Men, Breaking Bad, The Walking Dead, and that's all traditional cable that's in front of that pay TV wall. So everyone, I think, was kind of feeling the pressure to have that ultimate programming and, the sizzle. So you have all of this great programming now coming from a million different places, people watching it on a ton of different platforms. So the good news is that we can put your message in front of all of those places. Hopefully, the creative message that will make the splash in front of all of that different content. But at the end of the day, one of the other ways to extend reach, if we kind of boil it back down to what we want to talk about today in terms of extending that reach, as much as broad day parts works and broad networks works, if there's content that you want to be in, and if you want that little extra boost, we can specifically put you guys in programming that you like, that you watch, that resonates with you, that resonates with your audience, whether it be scripted content or even sports programming. So that's, I think that's a really important thing to take into consideration. Like we've been saying, what's your audience doing? Where are they? We want to reach them where they are.
That's all very good information. I love marketing. I'm a marketing geek. I love it, and trying to figure out where people are and what they're doing and how you get in front of them is just what I've been doing for 30 years. So
right,
and everybody's different. Everybody has, try TV, try this, try that. You really just need to sit down, boil it down to what your credit union needs, what you think you want to say, and make sure you're not just touting products. Make sure you're saying something that's relevant to the audience of where you are. And then you build the schedule, then you do the OTT, then you add the digital segment that might be OTT. And it's the truth for every other possible marketing avenue. Again, it used to be radio, TV, and newspaper, and I think it's a lot more than that these days. It is a lot.
Yes, it's a lot. So, we're here also just because we want to try to be consultative about just how to approach this. And again, I know you said that we have the chat, and I think I'll give you guys my contact information, because just coming from the data side of things, I just get excited about, I just want to give you facts. I just want to tell you, like, this is what it is. So happy to answer any of those questions.
I try to give people nicknames on the show, and yours is now Miss Data Geek.
Oh, I love it. Oh, I'm going to put that on my business cards now.
We're talking with Paula Clancy. It's been a pleasure chatting with the Senior Manager of Data Insight and Innovation for Effective, which is a division of Comcast. How do I get a hold of you if I'm a credit union marketing person and I want to hire you?
Oh, yes. So just email me directly. I'm at Paula_Clancy. I make it difficult. It's CLANCEY at Comcast.com. And I'm happy to, talk with you. We can set up some time to even chat like we are now. I love data. So anything that I can share with you guys to make your lives better and easier, I'd love to do that.
I think what you should do, definitely in the chat, if you haven't already done it, let's put your name, your number, your contact. So anybody who's watching, they can get a hold of you, make it super easy. And I encourage all of you membership folks, ask questions. With any of the vendor partners that we have on here, ask questions. Because if you don't ask questions and you're not inquisitive and you don't question everything, how are you going to know what to do, right?
Exactly.
Well, listen, before I let you go, I need to have you spin the prize wheel. Are you cool with winning some money?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This
of
is
our
so
vendor
exciting.
partners. Now it's your turn to win some stuff. Here we go.
Oh, boy.
$50 gift cards, $25 gift cards, or Dunkin' Donuts gift cards. Boom, $25 Visa gift card for you.
Oh, thank you. That's amazing.
And because you came on the show and you're one of our valued vendor partners, you're also qualified to win a 75-inch flat screen TV.
Wow, man. All right. I got to come on here more often.
Right, exactly. We're probably going to extend this past our, we're doing the road to convention. It leads up to convention, but we've had a lot of good compliments on the show. A lot of vendors are happy and all the membership seem to enjoy it. We keep it short and sweet, but it's been a pleasure talking with you, Paula, and I appreciate you sharing the insight about really good, effective television. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Again, that's Paula Clancy, Senior Manager of Data and Insight and Innovation for Effective, a division of Comcast. In our chat feature, she'll make sure to put her name and all of her contact information. All right, you want to stay with us? Don't forget, make sure you get registered for our virtual annual meeting and convention. Moving Forward Together is the theme this year, and that's all found right on the website you're at, ccua.org. And also go back and watch all the episodes of Marketplace Monday to learn about great vendors, hear from our sponsors, possibly win some money, and definitely play the Credit Union Marketplace Monday Mystery Clue game. We'll be back to Marketplace Monday right after this.
Octant Business Services, LLC, is a business lending QSO that has been working with credit unions since 2005. Octant provides credit unions an array of commercial lending services. These include underwriting, loan servicing and credit administration, as well as program implementation support and training. With our clients focused on borrower-facing activities and Octant focused on underwriting and credit administration, the result is a cost-effective, regulatory-compliant, and successful commercial lending program. This collaborative model has proven successful over the last 15 years, as evidenced by Octant surpassing the $1 billion threshold in loans underwritten in 2019. More recently, Octant helped its clients process more than 1,200 PPP loans, bringing over $25 million in needed capital to local small businesses. If your credit union would like to explore the possibility of beginning a business lending program or would benefit from outsourcing some of its commercial lending work, please contact us at info@octant.us. Thank you, and enjoy the CCUA's first virtual marketplace experience.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Marketplace Monday. I'm your host, Isaiah. I want to remind everybody that our virtual convention is now open for registration. This year's Cooperative Credit Union Association convention will be virtual, and it is called Moving Forward Together. So I want you all watching now to log on to ccua.org and get all the information. I'm very excited to be talking to two new folks here on the show. I had some time last year. I met Lori at our convention, had a great time, and I'm excited to have you on here virtually. So they're up in our virtual green room. Both Lori and Stephen, you guys can come off mute. Lori and Stephen work at Doran Mayhew. How you doing, Stephen? And how you doing, Lori? Thanks for coming on Marketplace Monday.
Great to be here.
This is going to be a lot of fun. It's a lot different this year. You know, I mean, Lori, you and I were just chatting before we started doing the show that we saw each other last year. Unfortunately, we can't all be together. So we're trying to do things virtually, and we're trying to keep things virtually short, though, because I really do believe there's something called Zoom fatigue at this point. Don't you agree?
I totally 100%.
Agree. Everybody agrees with that. So listen, do me a favor. Tell me a little bit. Let me start with you, Lori. Talk to me about Doran Mayhew. What is the company, and what is it that you do for credit unions?
Okay, well, Doran Mayhew is a CPA firm. So our firm provides all types of services for credit unions, and our group works primarily just with credit unions, but we do opinion audits, internal audit, IT. We provide IT services, pension audits, consulting, merger acquisition. So really just the whole gamut that a CPA firm could provide.
Now talk about the size of the company, Lori, because in doing my research, you have 85 or more than 85 professionals that can work with credit unions. So the value of the credit union decision makers that are watching the show right now, are looking at this going, okay, why would I want to be working with Doran Mayhew? Okay, the size of the company and the assets that you provide must be tremendous, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. As part of the Callahan group, they provide rankings every year, and we're ranked #2 in the credit union world. So we have about 350 clients nationwide, from all the way in the Northeast, all the way down to Florida, and also all the way out to the West Coast. So we do provide lots of services to lots of credit unions.
Excellent. We're talking with Lori and Stephen from Doran Mayhew. And where are you right now, Lori?
I'm actually sitting here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm actually in the office today for the first time, just to kind of get to see what it looks like here in the office. I've been working from home for quite a while, and so it's nice to kind of get out of the house for a little bit.
You have to change up the routine, that's for sure. I mean, we started doing this late February, early March. So that's your first day back at the office. How are things at the office?
Well, it's very empty here. There's just one other employee here who's just kind of helping out doing some administrative stuff, and otherwise it's just me and him. So everybody else is working virtually.
Welcome back to the office, Lori.
Thank you.
Talking with Lori and Stephen from Doran Mayhew. Stephen, tell me, where are you located right now?
I am also in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm right in the uptown area, which is the downtown area of Charlotte. That's what we call it. And I'm working from home today, and I have been. And it's been a nice change of pace working from home, and I'm really appreciating it. I know you were commenting on my trees behind me before, and
I know. Move over. Let's see the trees.
Yeah, let's do it.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, but that's the work from home life. That's what's happening right now. There's a plant, there's a kid, there's a dog, there's a cat, there's noise, and it's. You remember the show? There was a show. I think it was BBC a few years ago. It was such a big deal. There was a gentleman doing a report from his at-home office, and his kids kept breaking into the room, and the nanny was trying so hard to pull the kids back. It was such a big deal. I'm like, that's the new norm, people. That's what's happening.
Yeah, I have a roommate, and I had to discuss with him that I'll be being recorded for the next hour, so he has to stay on his best behavior.
I would love it if the roommate busted in and said, "Hey, are you recording now, Stephen? Is it happening now?
That may happen.
Do I have to leave the room now?" So talking with Lori and Stephen from Doran Mayhew. Stephen, let's focus on you. What is your responsibility at Doran Mayhew? Talk to the folks that are watching the show right now, what you do there, and just, maybe one or two highlights of what you can provide for these credit union decision makers tuned into Marketplace Monday today.
Yeah. Well, I primarily work on opinion audits or financial statement audits, which is a high-level audit that focuses on the accounting records and internal controls. And because I do that audit for credit unions in the North and South Carolina area primarily, and also up in the DC area, I've become very good at understanding the high-level needs of my clients and advising them on things like their internal control structure all across the credit union. So I think probably to sum it up, I'm an excellent advisor of internal controls for credit unions.
Talk to me about, Stephen, during COVID-19, so much has changed. I mean, there isn't one part of business or personal life that hasn't changed for everybody. Maybe it's just a little bit for some people, maybe it's a lot for other people. As far as talk about some of the most significant impacts or financial trends that your clients are seeing during this COVID-19 pandemic.
Well, one thing that I want to discuss in this regard is the move to be doing a lot more things remote. And one thing that has become way more popular because of COVID-19, but it was already a trend that we were seeing, is remote auditing, especially with the examiners performing remote audits. And in that regard, I think telecommunication applications like Skype and Microsoft Teams have become a huge part and a huge tool for everyone in the industry, especially I think for employees that are remote or while you're trying to communicate with third parties like the examiners and like the auditors. For me specifically, it's such an excellent tool where I can really feel like I'm right there in the office with the person. We can share screens, we can go over documents. It's almost making things easier than actually being there on site in some regards because of how easy it is to share screens and discuss things that are live and up on the screen.
I think now is really, you have to pull the positive from everything, right? So I look at a time like this and say, okay, how have I been able to reevaluate my business? How have I been able to reevaluate how I communicate with my clients, my customers, right? And that's so important right now. I think a lot of things will be trimmed back. I think a lot of, you talk about how it's already changed, the trends were already going in that direction where virtually we need to be able to communicate. You know, I worked in a variety of different sales sectors over the years, and there were times where I thought, why do we all need to be in an office? If I'm out working with my clients, and as long as I'm doing my job and I'm out there communicating, and communication is the number one thing, you know, and if I can communicate to you, and Lori, you're my boss, and you know I'm out there doing stuff, and you can see on a report, okay, Isaiah's done this, this, and this. Okay, we're good. And maybe we need to do a Zoom call or a ring call, or we get together when we can. But I think that a lot of CFOs after this are going to be sharpening their pencils, if they haven't already, to figure out, you know, I mean, commercial real estate, for example. Are we all going to need to go back to these offices all the time? You know, are we going to need to do the same thing? So I think it's excellent you just mentioned that, Stephen. Talking with Lori and Stephen from Doran Mayhew, you know, things are changing. Things are just changing, and we can't fight it. You have to just kind of roll with the punches. Lori, talk to me about some of the specific questions that some of your clients at credit unions have specifically related to COVID-19.
Well, there's been a lot of questions. Everybody keeps asking me, what are other credit unions seeing? I think the big thing we're seeing is, you know, a large growth in the deposits, more than what anybody really expected. And typically last year, growth was about 8%. And since COVID started, growth in shares and in assets has been about 20%. So that's a huge change for most credit unions. And so they're asking, well, what should I be doing for to invest this money, and how do I manage all of this? You know, there's a lot of changes that with that. Also, we had loan modifications that we're allowed to perform now that are not going to be considered TDRs, or troubled debt restructures. So that has been a big area that we're talking about. People have asked me a lot about how should I be funding the allowance for loan losses. So these are all things that we can help credit union to come up with some good numbers for their allowance, and how to account for troubled debt restructures or modifications under COVID.
You both cover a lot of ground with Doran Mayhew. Lori and Stephen were talking with us here on Marketplace Monday. Thank you for joining us, and thank you to all the folks, the decision makers watching right now. And don't forget, those of you watching the show, feel free to use the chat box right there while you're watching the show. If you have any questions for Lori or for Stephen, put them in there. We'll answer them in a timely fashion to make sure we get back to you. So I want to make sure all the questions are answered. I mean, you have a lot of services that you cover, and we can't cover everything in one interview, but my job and our job at CCUA really is to still get all of the decision makers together with all of the great vendors like yourself and provide solutions, because I don't care if we're at home or if you're back at the office like Lori's doing today, or if you're, again, working from home like Stephen or myself. You know, business has to keep going. We can't not be working. I mean, there are so many things that have changed with, I talked to a gentleman earlier today. Think about security risks. I mean, we're all at home now, so we're not behind the firewalls anymore. So that is just a problem for the people that are trying to hack into everything. So you're talking about CPA firm, and you're talking about all the work you do. There's just a lot to think about. There really is. And the level of stress that I think people are going through, you know, we don't stop and think about that. Think about people are now at-home parents. You know, they're full-time at-home employees. They're teachers now. Oh, wait a second, I've got extra, whatever. It's 24 hours a day nonstop. So there's a lot to be said for what we all have to go through. And I love that you folks provide a lot of services, Lori and Stephen from Doran Mayhew. Stephen, a website that people can go to that I can just see all your services and truly understand what it is that you do in a nutshell.
Doran.com would be a first stop, and we put a lot of information out there via different sources, and we write a lot of articles and put a lot of webinars out there for our clients. So you know, if I was a potential party that was interested, I would go to Doran.com, and I would put my email address into the website so that we can be sending you our frequent newsletters that go out, and all of the articles and other information that we release to our clients frequently.
Good. Do me a favor. We just touched on briefly, I just was talking about security, and some of my notes I took before this. What are some of the security best practices that you've seen work to help prevent cybersecurity breaches at credit unions? I mean, it was a real thing before. I think it's even more so at a heightened level. Don't you agree, Stephen?
The environment is changing significantly, as you said, with employees being remote and just with member behaviors and different scams that can emerge as a result of COVID-19. Actually, one of the NCUA's updated 2020 supervisory priorities is the area of cybersecurity, and credit unions need to make sure that they're placing enough resources in this area, which means employee attention and also auditor attention. And that is where Doran Mayhew can absolutely help out. We have some excellent IT professionals that are specifically focused on the credit union industry. And in that regard, and speaking about the NCUA, they have switched gears as far as what they plan for their exams coming up with this updated supervisory priorities list. They're moving away from their automated cyber security examination tool, the ACIT, and they're going to now focus on evaluating critical security controls with a focus on security controls impacted by COVID-19.
Security is a big deal. It really is. And I'm glad that you're focused on that. Everybody watching, this is Lori and Stephen from Doran Mayhew. And I want to make sure you get a hold of these two. Ask questions in our chat box. If you have any questions, we'll make sure that we connect the dots so that you can be together. Lori, I'm looking here, and given loan losses, they're going to be inevitable for many credit unions in the COVID-19 fallout. What do you think the industry is going to see as far as, increase in consolidation? Is that a factor?
I do believe it will be. We have in the past had seen a slowdown in mergers, but I do believe starting next year, we're going to start to see more of an increase in mergers. Actually, in the last, since I've been home for the last 5-6 months, I probably had 4 or 5 at least credit unions contact me about either merging somebody into them or looking for a merger partner. So we have definitely an increase in starting to inquire about these areas, but I think unfortunately in 2021, we'll start to see an even more increase in potential mergers.
I think everybody's just going to be happy to wipe away 2020 and get right to 2021, whatever it brings. We just need to almost hit the reset button. I didn't think when I yelled Happy New Year going into 2020, we'd be doing this.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
I don't think anybody saw this coming. I didn't think the sports would stop for 3 months. I didn't think I'd have one of these in my living room too. Hold on, this is fun. This is where you guys are going to win some money. Did Isaiah think he'd have a prize wheel in his living room? No. But because you are one of our preferred vendors and our clients, thank you so much for being on. You both get to spin the prize wheel. We've got $50 gift cards, $25 gift cards, and Dunkin' Donuts gift cards. Ladies first. Lori, are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm going to try not to knock this thing over. It's not nailed to the wall. There we go. I feel like Pat Sajak. Ooh, $50 Visa gift card for Lori. Very nicely
awesome.
done.
Yay.
Very nicely done. Got to make sure you let Dean know. I know Dean's watching. Dean, we owe Lori $50. Hold on. Steven, are you ready to go?
Give me a good one.
Oh, don't knock it over. Almost went down. And free spin. Not bad, not bad. There are no losers on the prize wheel, guys, by the way. No losers. $25 Visa gift card for you.
Nice.
That's not a bad day at the office, right?
No.
Bad day.
You come on Marketplace Monday, you give some information to our credit union decision makers, you win some money, and we're also putting all of our vendor partners' names in a hat to win a 75-inch flat screen TV. So if you two win it, you've got to fight for it. I can't, when I have multiple guests on, I can't control that. I can spin the prize wheel twice, but I can't crack the TV in half. I don't think so. Listen, this has been fun. I'm really excited to have a moment to talk to you, Lori and Stephen from Doran Mayhew. One more time, Lori, give out the website where all the decision makers can reach you, and that'll be good. The website will be a great place for them to find you.
Okay, that's www.doeren.com, Doran.com.
I love it. www.doeren.com. Stephen, Lori from Doran Mayhew, thank you so much for being on Marketplace Monday. It's a new world. We're doing things virtually, but we're short and sweet and getting to the point, and I'm really happy that you had some time to come on the show today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Isaiah.
Stephen, you can tell your roommate They can come back in now.
Okay, we'll do.
All right. Thanks so much for coming on the show. This is Marketplace Monday. I'm your host, Isaiah, and we'll be back right after these words.
Meet Bob and Sally. Each of them has just chosen a partner to help with vendor management. Let's see how things go. To start off, Sally just took the morning and uploaded all her existing vendor contracts and authorization letters to Maple Street. Then, got back to helping customers. Bob didn't do that. Bob spent 2 days on software training and loading his vendor list instead. Poor Bob. Here, we see Sally having a quick meeting with Maple Street. They've risk ranked all her vendors, so all she has to do is sign off on it and she's off to lunch. Bob didn't do that either. Bob spent all week using the software to risk rank his vendors himself. Poor Bob. Anyway, here's Sally and her team getting trained by Maple Street on recommended procedure updates and best practices for vendor management. And Bob? Yeah, Bob didn't do that either. He spent the last 3 weeks trying to get vendor information and doing all the due diligence reviews himself. Poor Bob. And here's Sally reviewing the final strategic vendor plan where Maple Street has already analyzed their contracts and expenses. They've identified places where she's spending too much, and now she's turning them loose to get that money back, right before she heads back out to help customers. And this is Sally sharing the news that Maple Street just reduced their vendor expenses by $600,000. Bob? You still in there, Bob? Never mind. Bob didn't save anything anyway. He did end up compliant, but it sure did cost him. Poor Bob. Don't be Bob. You're making an investment. Shouldn't you get a return? Call Maple Street today.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Marketplace Monday. I'm your host, Isaiah. Want to make sure that everybody's registered for this year's annual convention. It's coming up in October, and you need to be registered ahead of time. We've got a lot of really cool things happening, some guest speakers, breakout sessions. If you watch the Daily Scan or check ccua.org, you'll start to see some of the really amazing things that we're going to be doing for this year's virtual convention. So get registered ahead of time. And while you're on the website, ccua.org, not only watch these shows live every Monday, but you can go back and watch all of the old episodes and see all the great vendors, the speakers, the educational pieces. Thanks to all of our sponsors and everybody that's taken the time to make Marketplace Monday a great success. I'm very excited to bring our next guest on the show, Jill Fox. She's the Regional Director of JMFA. And really, as we look at this current financial climate and try to prepare for 2021, strategic planning and budgeting season is coming up. And these words stick out in my head. Finding ways to improve earnings will be imperative, right? And that is what Jill Fox from JMFA is going to talk about today. Jill, thanks so much for joining us on Marketplace Monday.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Excited to be here. Yeah.
Absolutely. We're really looking forward to talking with you. talk about yourself a little bit and tell us about what JMFA is for all the people watching the show.
Well, I'm Jill Fox, as you said, and I live in Western Massachusetts, born and bred here. And I'm the regional director for John M. Floyd and Associates, which is what JMFA stands for. And I cover the 6 New England states for JMFA as regional director. I've been in banking all my life. That's all I've ever done is banking. And JMFA has been in business for 40 years, actually a little bit more than 40 years, in the profitability consulting and financial services industry. So we focus primarily on non-interest income through overdraft privilege and expense reduction through contract negotiation, which we call our contract optimization department.
Excellent. Talking with Jill Fox. She's the regional director for JMFA. I want to talk about, look, the economic challenging times that we're facing. Everybody's dealing with it on every level. There is not one person that we've talked to on this show that's not affected. I want to talk specifically, how do the JMFA solutions benefit credit unions, especially during this particular time that we're all going through?
Well, we focus on primarily overdraft privilege, which is non-interest income generation. So what we do is we can significantly increase the amount of income without increasing any fees or even creating any new fees. So we do this in a very responsible and fully disclosed program that really is very member friendly. And we also provide 100% compliance guarantee for the credit union. So as you said, with interest rates being at an all-time low, margins being slim, and everything else that is going on in our world right now, financial institutions really need to work a lot harder and a lot smarter these days. So, these are very challenging economic times for credit unions. So we really need to maximize the efficiencies of their overdraft program. And we are experts in the industry. We've been doing it for over 40 years.
Talk a little bit more about that, Jill. How does JMFA actually help a credit union increase revenues without increasing fees? A lot of people ask that question.
Yeah, and it's a good question because, when you create a very member-friendly service that's very easy to understand, there's going to be more people taking advantage of the service when they actually need it. Members who are now probably utilizing some other option, like using a payday lender or making late payments. So we work to identify the missing income by implementing some very effective and proven strategies that we have developed over the years. So again, by offering a very affordable, consumer-friendly overdraft program, the service will just be utilized more. And again, it's a far better alternative for a consumer to use an overdraft program rather than some of the other more expensive alternatives that could actually affect their credit.
We're talking to Jill Fox. She's the regional director of JMFA. And we're talking specifically here now. Let's look at, why should a credit union, if I'm a credit union, there's a lot of credit union decision makers watching the show, why should we consider using JMFA to reevaluate our overdraft program instead of doing it on our own?
Well, because JMFA, we identify all of the missed opportunities for increasing income. We guarantee compliance 100%. We ensure that the entire program is fully compliant with all federal and state regulations. And, we've worked with over 2,000 overdraft programs. So we have extensive expertise just based on client data and best practices. And, we have over 80 people that work on our ODP on a daily basis. So we provide, best practices in over 125 different key elements in an overdraft program. That's a lot of key elements. So we just make sure that we provide the best program, not only for the credit union, but for the members as well. So we have decades of experience. So we're the experts. Let us do it for you so that the credit union can actually just rely on us and our experience so they can focus on running their credit union.
We're talking with Jill Fox. She's the regional director of JMFA. You just mentioned, and I understand this program benefits the credit unions. How does it in fact benefit the member, Jill?
Well, when you have a fully disclosed program, this allows the member to make an educated decision on how to handle a short-term cash crunch. It's easy to use, and it doesn't have any negative impact on their credit. And, there's no more float. I don't know if you remember back in the day where you could float a check, so that would be okay. My credit card payment is due on Wednesday. I don't get paid till Friday. I'll mail it on Monday. They'll get it on Wednesday. It'll clear on Friday. I'm good. That went away with Check 21 and ACH and all these other technologies. So that's really no longer an option. So now the consumer really needs an affordable way to bridge that short-term gap without it negatively impacting their credit. So again, by offering something that's very affordable and consumer friendly, the service will be utilized, and it's a far better alternative than them, again, making a late payment, having a large late charge, and having a ding on their credit. So in many cases, it's a better alternative.
When you mentioned just there, I heard you say fully disclosed overdraft. Jill, talk about what that exactly means.
Well, we help our clients educate the members on everything that they need to know about the program so that they can make an informed decision. So they're aware of what their limit is, what the fees are associated with the usage, so there's no surprises for the member, which creates a far better experience. Now, there's other types of programs that are not fully disclosed, and they have ever-changing limits, and those limits are based on average daily deposit, average daily balance. As a result, their overdraft limit keeps changing. And they never really know what their limit is. And sometimes they're reluctant to use the overdraft program because they don't know whether their item or their check is going to be covered. So rather than risking having an item declined, a transaction declined, or a check returned, they won't use it. So when it's fully disclosed, it's just an added benefit and a comfort for the member to know exactly what their limit is and that their check is going to be honored.
Knowing more about my money makes me comfortable. Thank you, Jill.
Yes. Yes. Me too.
We're talking with Jill Fox. She's the regional director with JMFA. Thanks for joining us on the show. This is Marketplace Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. Go into a little bit about, you mentioned just a second ago, 100% compliance guarantee. Can you talk a little bit about that, Jill?
Sure. Well, compliance is very important to JMFA. Our guarantee states that our recommendations for the program will be compliant with both state and federal regulators. We have the backing of an attorney. Her name is Obrea Poindexter, and she's with the law firm of Morrison and Forrester down in Washington, D.C. They're very well known, very highly regarded, and she reviews every aspect of our program. So our guarantee states that all of our clients who are following all of our recommendations, if they have a compliance issue, we will assist in working with the regulators. If there is an issue, we will actually pay their fines and any imposed fees due to the credit union. So compliance is top priority for JMFA, and to date, we have not seen one current client fined. And also, they're better suited to avoid any type of class action lawsuits as well, which is kind of big these days.
That's a very big deal. We're talking to Jill Fox, Regional Director of JMFA. Do me a favor, give me a website that people can go to. They're listening to this right now. They want to reach out to you. First of all, we do have a chat feature below the video. Everybody watching, feel free. Jill will be on there answering questions. If you have any questions, if what she's saying, piques some interest and you have further questions, please use that chat feature. And Jill will answer questions. But what's your website that people can go to and learn more about JMFA, Jill?
It is very easy to remember. It's jmfa.com.
I was hoping for that. I was hoping for really simple. Sometimes they get long. That's an easy one. JMFA.com. We're talking with Jill Fox. She's the regional director for JMFA. She's out there in West Springfield, Massachusetts. Love Western Mass. We've got a lot of amazing credit unions out in the Western Mass area. The Berkshires area. Love it out there. I love exit 3 down the Mass Pike. If you miss exit 3, it's a 60-mile turnaround. So be careful. Be careful. Jill, explain the process that a credit union can expect if, in fact, they do partner with you at JMFA.
Well, first, what we do is we begin the process with a no obligation complimentary performance analysis of the credit union's current program. And that current program could be a formal program, or it could be something that they have developed in-house. And if the results of the analysis indicate that we're a good fit for each other, we partner with the credit union and then perform a deeper analysis. We look at, as I said earlier, 125 different points in order to identify the opportunities to improve the program. Then we make recommendations to build a successful program, and we provide the credit union with all the necessary communication materials, tools, and everything for their membership. And we provide very in-depth training to every single person at the credit union. Training is key, and we have some of the best trainers in the industry, and so we have been told. We also provide the data analytics with our software to help manage the program effectively. And then we conduct regular compliance updates, backed with a 100% compliance guarantee. And we also do consistent monitoring of the program on a regular basis to ensure its success.
That's great. We're talking with Jill Fox. She's the regional director of JMFA. And some of the notes I took down here, as credit unions are working on their strategic plans, they're looking to enhance services and technologies. Talk a little bit about, if you don't mind, Jill, Contract Optimizer and how does it work?
Well, Contract Optimizer is the division of JMFA that actually goes out there and renegotiates contracts. Vendor contracts, every type of vendor that a financial institution uses. We do a free analysis. We look at all their current contracts, invoices, and then using our very extensive database, we can identify potential savings and better contract terms. So then we work on negotiating on the credit union's behalf directly with the vendor. And once we feel we've reached the best pricing, we present that to the credit union. And our fee is contingency based, and it's just a percentage of the savings. We also do RFPs, requests for proposals for cores. And this is really kind of key throughout the life of the contract. Our team is going to perform annual audits on all the invoices to ensure that there's no billing errors, because this happens. Recently, we had one of our clients, we identified an error that resulted in them paying over $20,000, which was credited back to them. So
contracts are a big deal, but tell me why. So if I'm a credit union, I'm watching this, why is it important, or what are the benefits, I should ask, of having a third-party contract negotiator?
Well, we kind of have the upper hand in the negotiating just by having actual vendor contracts in our database. So we know what the pricing is out there in the market. So we have the ability to negotiate the best deals, combined, with very experienced bundling type services and other areas of incentive that gets us the best deal.
When you can see the whole playing field better than others, that makes you the one with the advantage.
Exactly. Exactly.
We're talking with Jill Fox. She's the regional director, JMFA. Thanks so much for coming on the show. I want to make sure that people know exactly how to get a hold of you. We did give out the website, jmfa.com. Can they find you, Jill Fox, on that site, or is there a better way for people to reach out to you directly?
They can. They can find me on that website, or they can contact me at jill.fox@jmfa.com.
You make it so easy. Try having a name like mine, Isaiah Moskowitz. What? How do you spell that? jill.fox@jmfa.com is so easy. Thank you.
How easy is that?
Well, this has been great. Thank you so much, Jill. This has been very informative. And again, if the folks watching, you have questions, you want to jump on the chat feature below the screen, chat with Jill. She'll be on for a little while throughout the show. Or again, go find her at jill.fox@jmfa.com. And certainly go look at jmfa.com and fully understand what it is they can provide for your credit unions. Jill, it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for coming on Marketplace Monday.
My pleasure. Thank you.
I can't let you go without having you spin the prize wheel, though. Are you okay with that?
Oh,
you want to win?
sure.
You get to win some money.
I do. All right.
Yes, you do. We have $50 gift cards. What do we have? 50, 25, and Dunkin' Donuts gift cards. Are you ready, Jill?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Here we go. Spin the prize wheel. Free spin. Okay, bonus. You get a bonus spin.
Okay.
I had one guest hit free spin 4 times.
Oh, no.
$50 Visa gift card for you, Jill.
Wow. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it. You're a great member and partner of ours at the Cooperative Credit Union Association. You get a little prize there and a little extra bonus. All vendors, yourself included, everybody's in a drawing to win a brand new, I think it's a 75-inch flat screen TV. We'll draw that at the end of our Road to Convention series.
Wonderful. Sounds great. Thank you very much.
Oh, absolutely. We try to make it fun for everybody. Jill Fox again, Regional Director, JMFA. Reach out to her at jmfa.com or jill.fox@jmfa.com. Have a wonderful rest of your week, Jill, and thanks so much. And be safe out there in Western Mass, okay?
Thank you. Same to you.
All right, great. And for all of you watching, we'll be back. This is Marketplace Monday.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. The sounds of tutoring and tech and health and fitness and arts and music. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Marketplace Monday. I'm your host, Isaiah. Another great show in the books. Thank you so much for watching. If you've missed any of the episodes of Marketplace Monday, we've got them all stored right here at ccua.org. Make sure you go back and watch all the episodes because the mystery clue is buried in each one of the episodes. And if you gather all these clues and you guess the phrase or the word or the place, you might win $2,000 in cash. Now, your guesses can be submitted at info@ccua.org. Okay, so maybe you've already figured out what the mystery phrase or place or word is. Either way, next week is our final Marketplace Monday, so we'll have the final clue. I actually have to give you today's clue. Today's mystery clue for your chance at $2,000 is historic. Historic. All right, next week will be our final Marketplace Monday, so we'll have one more clue, and then you can enter your guess at info@ccua.org. Before we wrap up the show, everybody that's watching, I want you to text in right now. Use the text box below. Text in your name and your credit union name. I've got 3 gift cards to give away this week, thanks to a few of our vendors who gave money back. I've got a $100 gift card, a $50 gift card, and a $25 Visa gift card. So I need you to text in your name and your credit union name in the text box below right there, and we'll randomly pick 3 winners of those gift cards, $150 and $25. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, sign up for convention. If you haven't already signed up, we've got a lot of great things coming up. Moving forward together is the theme, and the convention's coming up in the middle of October. So enjoy the rest of your Monday. Have a great week, and we will see you next week for our final Marketplace Monday. Have a good day.